It's 7 p.m.
All right, quiet on the set.
It's 7 p.m.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Set.
Let's start the broadcasting. 4, 3.
After dark. This is your number one internet station. The music you love right here, right now.
OurBroadcastLink.com.
It's another live broadcast. Special edition. A walk through Polka heaven. Now your hosts, Rob and Jerry.
Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the fourth installment of A Walk Through Polka Heaven right here on Polkas After Dark, our broadcast link.
With a C.
.com, also on Facebook and YouTube. We thank you so much for joining us this evening. We've got a very, very nice show, just as we've had for the last three. And don't forget, next week is the last broadcast here of A Walk Through Polka Heaven. Yes, sirree, and unfortunately, we lost three very special people this week. Never ever dreamed that that was going to happen so quickly with all three individuals. First of all, a gentleman by the name of Paul Kuchma, Lucy's husband, up in Canada. We first met Paul and Lucy via the chat room on Facebook Live back during the pandemic, and we never got a chance to meet either one of them, but we had some great conversations. We even had a Zoom meeting at one time towards the beginning of the pandemic, and they became very good friends. They watched the broadcasts every single weekend faithfully, and we just want the entire Kuchma family to know that our thoughts and prayers are with you. Also, another very, very good friend that Jerry and I had a chance to spend some time with over the Labor Day weekend, Jeannie and Bobby Calvert. Bobby's wife, Jeannie, passed suddenly just a few days ago, and our thoughts and prayers are with the Calvert family. I've known Bobby for, I want to say pretty close to 46, 47 years, and probably the same amount of time with Jeannie. And I know that you had some pretty nice conversations with her that Thursday evening that we were down there, and Friday. Just great, very, very hospitable people. And Bobby, know that Jeannie will be missed. Also, Marianne and the family, God bless you guys. And we got word this morning that a gal by the name of Pat Coyle, and you'll remember that name because Pat and Pat were husband and wife, and we lost Patrick Coyle just last year, as a matter of fact, a year before. I can't remember. Gosh, it's been a blur here. But Patricia passed away this morning. We got word, and our thoughts and prayers are with the Coyle family as well. We do want to, again, thank you so much for tuning us in here to A Walk Through Polka Heaven. We've got a lot of people watching already, and we'd like to start some things out with a gentleman by the name of Mr. Larry Trojak. Larry Trojak definitely is no buddy here that is not remembered from the Dynatones days. He actually started out the band, Larry Trojak and the Dynatones, and he's going to talk a little bit about his good friend Scrubby Severiniak. Here's Larry.
Hi, Robin and Jerry. It's Larry Trojak here, and I would first like to say thanks so much for the opportunity to spend a few minutes with your viewers and listeners reminiscing a bit about Scrubby. He's a legend in the polka field, of course, and it's kind of funny, but as a lot of younger kids are coming up in polkas nowadays, they perhaps didn't even have a chance to see the Dynatones with Scrubby. So if in some way this can kind of give them some background into what this legendary guy was all about, then maybe it'll be worth all of our time. Anyway, so I do appreciate the opportunity, and my first memory of Scrubby goes back to 1967. We had found out about a concertina player through a mutual acquaintance of ours and of Scrubby's and the band's, and they said, "Would you like to audition a concertina player?" At the time, we were just using an accordion player, Joe Granda, and we were happy with the work Joe was doing, but we always wanted a concertina. So when we found out that there was one available, we set up a rehearsal at Joe Granda's house, and it was I think it was a summer night, and Scrub pulled up in this like nondescript car, and we came out and helped him unpack his stuff, and he came in and got set up with this old Pearl Queen concertina that he had, and we were a little bit apprehensive. Did this guy really know how to play or whatever? But he just started playing concertina, and we just said, "Oh my Lord in heaven." We said, "Can you do any tunes by Blazonczyk?" And he did Polka, Go-Go, including the Medusa solo on there. He said, "I also do some vocals too," which could probably be the biggest understatement ever uttered. And we said, "Well, okay, let's do something. What do you want to do?" And he says, "Well, I do Kalina Vlesha by Little Wally," and we did that, and he started singing, and it was like we're stopped dead in our tracks. We said, "Oh my God, this guy is amazing." So, needless to say, that was the first and only audition Scrubby ever had for the Dynatones, and he was in the band, and things changed from that point forward. As we discussed on your show a little while back, I went into the service from 1971 to 75 after leading the band up to that point. And when I got out of the service in 1975, I knew at that point that it was Scrubby's band. I mean, it was no longer going to be Larry Trojak's Dynatones, because Scrubby was such a presence in the band at that time, and it was an ideal time for him, actually, because it allowed him to grow both as a concertina player and as a band leader. He got a lot of confidence in leading the band at that point, and it was just great the way everything worked out. It's not everyone can be a band leader. I mean, there's very few polka musicians out there, even today, that can command an audience the way Scrubby did, and it was just amazing to see how he grew at that time, and he, talking about commanding an audience, I mean, I have recordings of Scrubby saying things off the bandstand that nobody else in the world could get off saying, but he could get away with it because he was Scrubby, and people just liked him, and they liked everything about him. So that was the start of it, and he never looked back, and neither did we. There's a lot of things people don't know about Scrubby, even people who are in the know that don't know about Scrubby. And I thought maybe I could share some of those with your viewers and listeners. He could turn his feet backwards, and how many people can do that? Not a lot. It's probably the best bar trick you can ever hope for, to be standing at a bar drinking, looking at the bartender while your feet are facing backwards. He was double jointed at the knees, and he did that like nobody else. So there you go. Scrub was also a huge fan of big band polkas. I mean, people probably would assume that he only liked Chicago-style stuff because he played it so well, but he was a huge fan of Budziłek. He loved Ray Budziłek music, and he could play some great Eastern-style accordion too, which is something a lot of people don't know. Just a fabulous accordion player. That was his first instrument before he picked up concertina. So, and he also loved big band music, big band as in big band kind of Glenn Miller big band stuff, and he could croon with the best of them. I mean, when Dynatones did some pop stuff for weddings and stuff, he was just a great singer of pop music. So there you go. He was also an amazing bowler. It's an acquired taste, obviously, but Scrubby did everything slow and deliberate. I mean, if you've ever seen him smoke a cigarette, he smoked and just put it away. And he bowled the same way. I mean, he had the slowest delivery ever, but an outstanding bowler. So there you go. Another thing a lot of people don't know about, and except the guys who have played in the band around this time, he traveled with one large brown light vinyl suitcase, which, when you opened it up, contained a carton of cigarettes, a change of underwear, maybe, a shaving kit, and maybe an extra shirt for the weekend. It was great. It was the lightest suitcase in the world, but we always kidded him about it, and he always laughed about it. He never took anything personally, and that was the beauty of Scrub. Anyway, he also used to like to go to the mall near his house, and I've witnessed this myself because I happened to be at the mall one time, and I saw him. He used to like to sit on a bench and just sit and smoke cigarettes when you could at the time, and watch people go by. And every now and then somebody would walk by, and he'd he'd laugh. You just have to wonder what's going through his mind at that time. But it was just wonderful to think about those things. He was also great with anybody that wanted to talk to him at a job. I mean, he was such a popular guy, and when he got off stage in between sets, he didn't like want to go off and be by himself. Somebody would say, "Hey, you want to come to the table and meet my son who's playing concertina?" He always took time to spend time with people, and I think that's what people loved about him so much, and it served him well, and it was always great to see. In 1994, moving ahead quite a bit here, I guess, Scrub was inducted into the Polka Hall of Fame, and there could not have been a more deserving person to be inducted, in my opinion. I was honored when he asked me to do the honor of giving his induction speech at the Hall of Fame, and he really didn't even expect to ever be nominated, let alone inducted into the Polka Hall of Fame. That's the kind of guy he was. He just enjoyed what he did and didn't expect anything for it. So he was visibly moved when he found out about the honor, and it was a great day for him and a great day for Polkas as well. The IPA certainly got it right on that one, and it was an honor to do that for him, to read the induction speech. And I remember to this day that I was visibly moved. I was just so happy for him. It was wonderful. On to the Livewire Dynatones. This is what I like to refer to as Scrubby's show period. I think it all stems from a Liberace show he saw at one time. And at one point in Liberace's show, he says, "I'm going to go off now and change it to something a bit more spectacular." And Liberace came back in this 20-foot train velvet gown that was trailing behind him, and Scrub just got a charge out of that and kind of took it to heart. So that was kind of the impetus for us getting him the cape. It wasn't quite a 20-foot train cape, but it was a Dracula cape, and he embraced it as his own. And that whole period, he was just so into this performance of his, the show, he called it. When are we going to do the show? What set are we going to do the show and stuff? And the interesting point about that is that we in the band used to always play like 2 songs before he came out to do his show. And we never knew what he was going to come out in. So most of the time when he came out, we were just like floored as much as anybody else was. I mean, he kept adding to this outfit that he was wearing. He would wear sandals and socks and then gym shorts with a halter top underneath. And it wasn't called a halter top, but a cutoff shirt underneath, and underneath the cape, and a visor sometimes. And it was just like the weirdest pairing of clothing, but it was just hilarious, and we never knew what it was going to be. And if you look back at old videos, you can see that we're just in stitches when he comes out. So it's a good one to remember, I'll tell you. Livewire itself, of course, was a blast to do, and Scrubby just made that entire session. I mean, people often say, "Oh, the music on Livewire is good," but it's all the talking in between that really makes it, and that is all Scrubby. I mean, and that was actually Scrubby's essence, was his rapport with the audience. I mean, he could just get people going. The most mundane job could turn into the best job ever because of what Scrubby would do off the stage. So when we were getting set up for Livewire, we got to the hall at probably 9 o'clock in the morning and started doing setups and getting the microphone set and stuff like that. And of course, they had the bar open at the time. So by noon, Scrub already had a nice load on. I mean, and to such a degree that like nothing, not even thinking anything about it, he just stretched it out on the bar and caught a little bit of a nap and came to, and yeah, you can't say there was anything lacking in his performance that night. It was great, and that's just the way he was. I mean, you could always count on him. And around this time, people were starting to call the band Scrubby and the Dynatones, and nobody in the band ever begrudged him that. I mean, he earned every bit of those accolades, and he earned every bit of them putting the name in front of it. But yet even Scrubby was, at that point, never afraid to share any of the limelight. I mean, it wasn't like, this is my show. He was just that kind of a guy that said, oh, Larry, why don't you sing some of these vocals? And, he would feature people on instruments, and he would let Al do vocals. And it was just a great rapport that he had with the band. And I had the honor of singing a lot of duets with Scrub and loved every minute of it. And I always thought it was just a personal thing. I said, oh my gosh, I think it sounds nice singing with Scrubby. I mean, but it's, it's just we always think we sound good, don't we? I mean, in a shower or anything, we thought, oh, that isn't bad. But a couple, more than once, Scrubby came up to me and said, God, Larry, I really enjoy doing duets with you. And that meant a lot to me. I mean, he had an amazing voice, and it was always a thrill to sing with him. Around 2013 is when Scrubby started having health issues, and that came as a shock to all of us. We knew Scrub didn't take care of himself. I mean, none of us playing polkas did for the most part, but we never expected anything to happen to Scrub like did. The cancer that he dealt with and stuff, and the outpouring of love for him at that benefit that they held, I think it was in Lackawanna or East Aurora or West Seneca, I think it was just so fabulous. I mean, the people loved Scrub, and people who maybe even only saw him a few times knew about Scrubby, and they came out, and that night was just such a magical night, and I think it meant a lot to him to see that. One of my best memories of Scrubby during this period, even though he had failing health and was dealing with a lot of ups and downs in his own medical treatments, was one time I was in town on business, and I'd been in town on business before and asked him to go out places. Do you want to go here to go and see a band or something? And he generally turned it down. He wasn't either feeling good or up to it or whatever. But this particular weekend, there happened to be a Buffalo Polka Boosters picnic going on. And I asked Scrubby on a Saturday, I said, hey, tomorrow Buffalo Polka Boosters having a picnic. Would you like to, go and pay a visit and, see some people? And he said, call me tomorrow morning and let's see about it. And I called him on Sunday morning, and he said, why don't you, if you can come by and pick me up, why don't you do so? And so I think I picked him up like around, 2 o'clock in the afternoon or something. And walking into that Buffalo Polka Boosters picnic at a grove, I can't remember the name of the grove, but was just such a special thing. I mean, people's heads turned when they saw Scrubby coming in, and it was as if the Pope had shown up or something. I mean, people were just so thrilled to see him, and it was special in many ways because Al Pietkowski also happened to be at the picnic with his family that day, and the news were playing, and they asked if we would like to come up and sit in with the band, and we did. And that afternoon, Scrubby just killed. I mean, he sang like cancer was the furthest thing from his mind, and he gave the people every dollar's worth. Oh wait, that's a free picnic, isn't it? No. Anyway, no, he really gave people their money's worth, and it was one of the best memories I had of that. With regard to Scrubby's illness, I mean, he was positive to the very end. I mean, he was just an amazingly positive person all through life. I never heard him say much negative things about anything. But for his own illness, I mean, he kept such an outlook, such a positive outlook, and tried alternative treatments and things like this. And a week before he passed, he sent me this. He sent me a voicemail. I missed the phone call, so he left a voicemail, and just listen to this.
Hey, Larry, this is Scrubby calling you back. Just thought I'd let you know everything's fine. How about this one? Na tej wodzie łódka płynie, na tej wodzie łódka płynie. See, I'm feeling better. Give me a call when you have a chance. Bye-bye.
Is that precious or what? And that's exactly the way he was. So I'm never going to lose that. I've got like 11 copies of that made, and I've got some in a safe deposit box somewhere. So I'll never get tired of hearing that. At the end of it all, I was really honored that the Severiniak family asked me to do Scrubby's eulogy, to write it, and then also to read it at church. And it allowed me to share some of these same memories that I'm sharing with your viewers and listeners now. And it was an amazing turnout for his funeral as well. I mean, again, indicative of the love people had for him. It was great to see that many people come out and show their respect for him. He was an amazing guy, a great friend, and he's still sorely missed in Polkas. So, again, Robin and Jerry, I appreciate the opportunity to share some of this with your viewers and listeners. And thanks so much for all that you guys do for Polkas. And Scrub, we love you from the bottom of our serce. Take care.
And that is just amazing. Leave it up to Trojak to do such a professional video for us, remembering Scrubby Severiniak, a.k.a. David Severiniak, also known as Scrubby to all of us. I had the honor of performing with the band from 1983 to 84, and then again in 1995 all the way to 2001. We had a lot of great times, and I do want to make mention that Mr. Trojak had sent me a text message and said, he made a mistake. It wasn't a week before he had passed, it was a month before Scrubby had passed that voicemail came through. Hey, it would be appropriate if we played the song that Scrubby made famous off of the live wire. Everybody hears it all the time on all the radio stations. The IJs, the DJs play it constantly. And here is one called
Zosha. Let's go. Zosia kuchnię zamiatała ima Macieja zawołała Zosia kuchnię zamiatała i Macieja zawołała Zosia kuchnię zamiatała i Macieja zawołała Matka lampę zaświeciła ima Macieja zobaczyła matka lampę zaświeciła i Macieja zobaczyła matka lampę zaświeciła i Macieja zobaczyła go! co robicie, gdzie tak, gdzie tak, gdzie tak, że się całujecie, wy macie już, co robicie, gdzie tak, że się całujecie, wy macie już, co robicie, gdzie tak, że się całujecie. Zosia, Zosia, Zosia kuchnię zamiatała i ma czyja zabawa. Zosia kuchnię zamiatała i ma czyja zabawa. Zosia kuchnię zamiatała i ma czyja, hej, zabawa, go, go, go!
Hi Polka fans, this is Al Pietkowski, and I'm here to talk about one of the best entertainers I've had the honor of performing on stage with, David Severiniak, also known as Scrubby. Scrubby was not only recognized as one of the best vocalists and concertina players in the polka field, but his fun-loving personality could light up a room whenever he entered it. In front of the microphone, Scrubby could dazzle a crowd with his sweet-sounding vocals or with his comical chatter with the crowd, band members on stage, or with himself in between the songs. He knew how to get the crowd eating right out of his hand. No matter where the band played, he would always generate a huge crowd in front of the stage when he sang his infamous waltz medley, complete with his crying and blowing his nose into the microphone bit. The crowd would be howling at his performance. Don't be alarmed though, he really didn't blow his nose into the mic, it just sounded like it. I first heard Scrubby playing with the Dynatones when I was 15 years old at a dance in my hometown in Syracuse, New York. I bought their recording just a little bit more and nearly wore it out when I got home. What stood out the most to me was the tasteful way Scrubby played the concertina on that LP. Rather than a rehearsed, repetitious cycle of melody lines, his style was from the heart, playing his parts slightly different every time. I think Scrubby's love of Little Wally's music had a great influence on both his playing and singing style. He sparkled on all of Little Wally tunes that the band played, but even outdid Wally himself with the Headache Waltz, the one that he did his crying bit on. But besides Little Wally, Scrubby also loved the sound of the Ray Bujelik Band, whose big band Eastern style was the total opposite of Wally's small band honky style. He often spoke about Norm Notarianni and Johnny Urin, two of Ray's fantastic accordionists. They were also two of my favorites. I remember walking in the back hall stage at Seven Springs many years ago and seeing Scrubby sitting there watching Bud Hundensky's drummer, Pete Piechak, who was also Bujelik's drummer throughout most of his career. Scrubby's head was bopping, his arms and legs were moving to the beat, and there was a big smile on his face as Pete played those drums as only Pete could do. Pete was, in many people's opinion, the best Eastern-style drummer in the business. I enjoyed every minute that I played with the Dynatones. The crowds were amazing, and during my era with the band, Zosia was the big hit for the band. At the larger dances and festivals, Scrubby would go off stage and change into his show set outfit, as we would call it, which consisted of a cape and short pants. Yes, the man wore a cape, and only he could get away with it. When he came back on stage, he'd go right into Zosia, and then Jeshbil Yashenko, and then followed by the waltz medley. The energy in the air and the reaction of the crowd would send a chill down my spine every time. Scrubby truly loved entertaining the people, and I learned so much from him during the 3 years I played beside him. Thanks for everything, Scrub. You are deeply missed. And thanks to Robin and Jerry for allowing me to share this on a walk through Polka Heaven.
And the next gentleman that we have that we're going to bring up here to chat with everybody is Mr. Mike Evon. Everybody remembers Mike Evon from the Dynatones, also played with very many bands throughout his career, Lenny Gomulka, Chicago Push, and most recently you can catch him on the stage with the Boys. But right now, he's going to remember a very, very dear friend of ours and mine, Mr. Sonny Wunderlich. Michael, take it away.
Good evening, everyone. Mike Evon here. I would like to do this video tonight in dedication to a friend of mine who is very dear to my heart and I miss very much as a musician and also a friend, and that is my friend Sonny Wunderlich. We both played in the Dynatones back in the day, as many of you know. Sonny and I became friends when I was living in Buffalo playing with the Dynatones, and it was kind of a unique time back in those days. We were just living for the music, you know. That's all we did was play pretty much full time. And I'll never forget the days. Back then, Al Pikowski also, we're like brothers. We lived together back in those days in a little house in Buffalo, and we would hang out with the Wunderlich brothers at Johnny's house, and we'd make what we called dub tapes. Johnny had an old Tascam 4-track tape recorder, and we would just sit there for hours and hours during the week when we weren't on the road with the Dynatones and do recordings, which was, at the time, like, we didn't think anything of it. It was just what we did. We loved the music so much, and, you know, we'd work out horn parts and just have a good time while we weren't on the road. And that's how I got to know Sonny, obviously the brother of Johnny and Tommy Wunderlich. All three phenomenal musicians, just incredible. You know, taught me a tremendous amount of technique, what I want to call it, as with regards to the music, especially Sonny. And eventually Sonny wound up playing with the Dynatones upon my recommendation, because I knew him. Like, we would start hanging out in at Johnny's apartment or house doing these dub tapes. So throughout that year, the Dynatones music was very, how do you want to say, you know, it was ingrained in everyone's brain like a certain way. Horn parts were simple, solid, a phenomenal band, like before I even came into the picture. And I was just at the right place at the right time with the Live Wire album. And to this day, like, probably one of the most influential albums in polka music. But when Sonny came along, we recorded an album, the 15 and 9 album, and all those horn parts, me and Sonny, we worked out in his house. We sat on his couch and worked through different kind of techniques and like things I never even would imagine playing back with that band, especially because things were, you know, pretty solid and simple, like I said, and dynamic. But when I met Sonny and heard his playing, like, he really opened my eyes to a different way of playing. And it was phenomenal. I thought at the time, some people didn't like it when we recorded that album. But I just feel like Sonny had such an impact on my playing at the time that I just I can't thank him enough, because he set the stage for my playing to go on, obviously, to other bands, the Brass Connection, and eventually Lenny Gomulka and Chicago Push. And if it wasn't for Sonny, I would have never developed a lot of the technical playing that I did with those bands. And I don't know if I would have ever been able to handle a lot of that stuff, because it was like, obviously TBC, you do 5 key changes in one song with crazy horn parts all over the place. And we had no music. None of these bands up and through the Boys, like, we never had music. Musical Heirs, Dynatones, TBC, Lenny Gomulka. We just recorded our parts on little cassette players and memorized everything. And back then, we were playing 3, 4, sometimes 5 nights a week. We could remember all those crazy horn parts. But going back to Sonny, his playing that he showed me, and the techniques that we worked on, were something I never heard of. Like, he would just come off with all kind of different ideas, and they weren't really crazy horn parts, but they were like musically, I thought musically correct and very precise, that worked for the songs that we were recording or playing live. And I just want to say that his type of playing had such an impact on my mind and how I looked at and thought about playing with bands in the future, that if we never played together, I don't know if I could have handled these bands that I played with later on, like the Brass Connection and Lenny, because some of these things were so intricate later in my career that if I never played with Sonny, I don't know how I would have ever transitioned from playing with, the basic parts of the Dynatones that I originally transitioned to. And after that moment with the 15 and 9 album, like I said, it was just a unbelievable period of experimentation, I guess, if you want to call it that. And it was just, I don't know, it was amazing working with him. And a lot of people have no clue how good Sonny really was. He could come off with porn parts and very tasteful little licks, little things that would just, make the song sound so much more dynamic and beautiful. And I don't know, just, he took it to another level. And I can't thank him enough for giving me the opportunity to work with him. And like I said, if I never worked with Sonny Wunderlich, I don't know where my trumpet playing would have went in the polka music industry. I really don't think I would have been prepared for the Brass Connection, Lenny Gomulka. Obviously, those days were amazing, and then on to the Boys. So, Sonny, we miss you. We love you. You're a brother to me forever. I love you, man. Rest in peace. God bless. Sonny Wunderlich.
ja tam dziadusia, mam ciocię i wujka i bracia mistrzusia. Pojadę do Polski, powiem im halo, choć jak będą pytać, jak to, co i co. Halo Mary, halo Staś, halo Jasiu, jak się masz? A przyznajesz, czy też no, makes no difference, say hello.
Good evening, everyone. Mike Yvonne here.
Powiem im w tym kraju, taka to jest moda, gdzie tylko się idzie, to wszystkich się gada. Powiem im, że tutaj pierwszy raz się sto, jak to kowa spotka, mówi mu halo. Halo Mary, halo Staś, halo Jasiu, jak się masz? A przyznajesz, czy też no, makes no difference, say hello. Pojadę do Polski jak pan z Ameryki, kupię się nowy sód, para w nim przewytki. Pojadę do Polski jak ten big shot show, o panią, powiem im halo. Halo Mary, halo Staś, halo Jasiu, jak się masz? A przyznajesz, czy też no, makes no difference, say hello.
Hey, we're listening to a little bit of Dynatones featuring Mike Yvonne and, of course, the great Sonny Wunderlich.
She likes kielbasa, that's her dish. She likes kielbasa better than fish. She likes kielbasa, that's her dish. She likes kielbasa better than fish. Sweetheart goes. Moja staro lubi kielbasę, moja staro loves Czy na obiad lub na kolację, wherever my staro goes. Czy na obiad lub na kolację, wherever my staro goes. She likes kielbasa, that's her dish. She likes kielbasa better than fish. She likes kielbasa, that's her dish. She likes kielbasa better than fish.
Hey, you're listening to some great polka tunes by Sonny Wunderlich, Nigel Kurgel, David Allen, Nigel Kurgel, Scrubby Severiniak, Sonny Wunderlich, Mike Ivan, and yours truly on drums. And that was the 15 and 9 recording. 14 and 9, 15 and 9, 16 and 9. Do I hear 20? No, that's a different thing altogether. Hey, here's a tune that Scrubby made famous with the band. Here's one called the Happy Life Polka.
Opił ja se łopił, będę baby topił. Utopię i swoje, bo i się nie boję. Biorąc szczelu diabła, nie będzie mnie słodził. O którece myślę, to ty będę chłodził. Pójdę do Heleny, o dobrze gotuje, ziemniaki, kapustę, wszystko tak smakuje. Pójdę do Heleny, bo jest taka ładna, kuleczki czerwone, a figurą zgra.
Hey folks, you're tuned to a walk through Polka Heaven right here on Facebook Live, YouTube, under Polkas After Dark, and we appreciate you tuning us in this evening.
Ja se łapił, będę baby topił, utopię i swoje, bo i się nie boję. Jeden z stylu diabła nie będzie mnie spodził, o którece myślę, do tej będę chłodził.
Everyone, I'm Kathy and here to share memories about Millie and Willie, my mom and dad. They loved the music, and you may remember some of their antics at dances and polka weekends. Growing up, I don't recall not hearing polka music or going to the dances. We listened to the sounds of great musicians as far back as I can remember, whether a special occasion or just being at home, be it on TV, radio, or vinyl. Late-night jam sessions were quite normal. Their life in the polka world began with volunteering at local lawn fetes and grew from there. Dad took on the task of booking the polka bands. Be it a family, wedding, church function, he was the go-to person. For us, dancing the polka was a must. In their early years, they often had polka dance contests where they would outdance pretty much everyone there. Soon the weekend festivals began with Seven Springs and Erie Polka Days for 20 years or so, along with Cognac Lake. These were their favorites. It was the early days of Erie that they became known as the Polka Pals, Shakers and Bells, and later Polka Maniacs. They followed so many bands and events, some of which were Dingus Day at Twin Fair, On Transit, Knights of Columbus, Randolph Hall, USPA, St. Stan's in Niagara Falls, St. Catharines, Burlington, and McKinley Park, and to name a few. They were members of the Buffalo Polka Boosters and served on the board of directors. Polka music to them was a lifestyle and a way of making friends. When we were kids, Dad made Good Friday at the Broadway Market a tradition. Somewhere along the way, he bent the rules of not drinking and dancing during Lent. He told us that the Pope gave him special dispensation, that after 65 it was okay on Good Friday. We were taught to respect and obey our parents and elders, so we did. A few stories stand out as I enjoyed many of these memories. Erie Polka Days, there were bubbles overflowing in the flume ride, dancing above the bands on stage and setting up at the hall early in the morning. Late night jam sessions at our patio or the cottages down the road. One year my grandparents were with us and I woke up to find my grandmother missing. As I followed the music, there was Gram having her coffee and Scrubby with his vodka and squeeze box, serenading my Gram as the sun rose. Only my eyes captured that special moment. There was Cognac Lake and the after dance party led by a chorus of E-I-E-I-O. Translating, bring out the coffee, food, and adult beverages. There was also Gino's after-dance pool party at my brother's with band members, or driving home from John's dance in Burlington during a total whiteout. Oh, and a wedding in Toledo might have been one of the band members, TPM, that got married. Sunday Mom said, "It's Mother's Day, and I'd like to hear polka music." So they drove to Feeder's Grove. According to them, all roads lead to polka music. I met Ryan at Seven Springs, and he told the story how he rode the elevator and partied all night with them. Oh, I must not forget Ocean City with Robin and a few others attempting to get back to the hotel, drink in hand, serenading the locals, or so they thought. May have been a bit hung over after that dance. Story goes, as this friendship grew, so did Dad's liking for Krupnik, now a must at all family gatherings. Oh, then there was the Eden Corn Festival with Ron Eddy and a few other people who decided to take a shortcut, jump the fence right into a patch of poison ivy. Oh, and if you were at a hotel, you often heard my mom say, "You need ice," but only the newbies responded to her comment. Mom and Dad's next best love was Aruba. Their first was with Mike Novakoski. About mid-2000s, Mom said, "Let's do one more family trip." So we booked and paid for it. Mom's dream was to hear polka music in Aruba. A couple of months later, Mom calls me saying, "Eddie B is running a trip to Aruba at the same time we're going." Well, there was a group from Buffalo going also. So us kids had a mission now to hear them play at least one of the evenings. After much persuasion, with Eddie B. Jr. and I believe Ron Urbancic, they caved in and let us in. A memorable evening in Aruba, and we were all actually with them to see a dream come true. Around 2006 in Seven Springs, jam sessions were very common. I recall being there with my son and he disappeared. So we went once again to search for him, found him outside, I think Dan's room, with beer in hand and a group of people. He walks over, puts his arm around my dad, and says, "This is my Gram and Grandpa. I want to be just like him." A few years later, my daughter and family surprised my mom and me for the first great-grandchildren's Dingus Day celebration at the Clinton Bar. My grandkids now believe it's a national holiday that they will attend. Together for 39 years in marriage, they have 4 children, 10 grandchildren, 25 great-grandchildren, and 1 great-great-grandchild. They shared their love for family, polkas, and their Polish heritage. We always had traditional Christmas and Easter celebrations. One Christmas Eve, when I was a child, Dad requested that we sing Kalenda for his father before we opened presents. That tradition now still carries on with my grandchildren as a tribute to my grandfather, my mom, and dad. Mom and Dad had a love for family and traditions. Their love for family always made us feel important accepted our decisions while sharing their thoughts on the matter. They were always there for every milestone of our lives, big or small. You may remember my dad for his purple shots, and my grandma got run over by a reindeer. For me, and I speak for my brother, sister, and all my family, Mom and Dad were very strict when we were growing up, and we have carried those values throughout our life. They taught us live life by example, be kind to others, friends, family, traditions, and self-worth are important. If you fall, pick yourself up and try again. Believe in yourself. They always welcomed everyone into their circle of life. So a huge thank you for all these memories, friendship, and music throughout their lifetime. Thank you.
Well, that was really, really great. And, you know, she told a lot of information, a lot of stories.
I'm glad she left out the details of some of them.
Yeah, well, yeah. That purple drink, I can't remember what that was.
Had a few of them along the way.
Yeah, but I'm trying to remember the name of it. It was a purple...
We're not allowed to use that word on the air.
No, we're not, actually. No, we are not. Hey, but that was Kathy Graves. Kathy, thank you so much for sharing the stories on Millie and Willie. What a great trip down memory lane. Hey folks, if you're just joining us, well, you're tuned to a walk through Polka Heaven, presented live to you guys here on Polkas After Dark, our broadcast link with a C, Facebook Live, and also YouTube. And we've got so many people here that we have not had the chance to even scratch the surface to say hello to. But we want to say hello to Maria and Eddie Pilars, Jill Cerniak, she's here. Jeff Tufel, I think he had a birthday not too long ago, maybe this week even. Linthal is here. Dave Janka, looks like Bernadette Gordon is here. Also, Lisa Vojic Oswald is in the house. It looks like Steve and Cheryl Rogers. Thank you guys for tuning in. Also, Mr. Steve Zelenik, he is here with us. Let's see here. Don and Marina Kozak out in North Tonawanda. Thank you. Looks like Erica Belanda McMaster. She is here. Barb Towboy. Barb is here from Michigan, as we say. Lisa Pritko. Sorry about that. Lisa's here with the gang watching. Also, Mr. Tom Kowalski out in Michigan. It looks like Lindsay Schreiber is here. Lindsay Schieber. Sorry about that. I'm looking here at a whole bunch of people. This is amazing. Kevin Panner is here. Cheryl Brzeski is here. We want to say hello to you. A lot of folks here tuning in from Michigan, Pennsylvania. We've got Renee Robertson. Gosh, I'm blowing these names here, aren't I? Bev Ceremet, Lucy Kuchma. She is here with us this evening. Also, it looks like Kyle Kohan. Mark is playing tonight, otherwise he would have been here. Bob Saharsky. Gosh, we've just got so many folks here. Alex Quinnell. Thank you guys so much for tuning us in here. Let's see. Barb Wozniak is tuned in down in Pennsylvania. Mr. Ray Barzakevich. Sue Howard is going to be talking in just a little bit. But right now we have another special couple here, and that is Jenny and Carolyn from North Tonawanda, as they remember the folks that we do too, and that is Gus and Julie Suda. Hey folks, so we're talking now. Everybody remembers Gus and Julie Suda. We're talking with daughter Carolyn and granddaughter Jennifer. So welcome, ladies, to Polkas After Dark and a walk through Polka Heaven. Tell us a little bit, tell us a couple of short stories, if you wouldn't mind, about Gus and Julie with their travels in the motorhome. And why don't we start with you, Jenny?
Yeah. So every summer I would go to Frankenmuth, Seven Springs, USPA, IPA, just everything like that, and Pulaski, which is what this story is about. So I was only able to go to Pulaski once. We kind of got to surprise a couple people because I sent them an email before. I was like, hey, I can't go. And then when we get there, they're like, oh, yay. So throughout the whole entire festival, it was raining for the majority part, and my grandma would go and take bread bags and tie it to her feet so her shoes wouldn't get wet. My grandpa didn't care. He was just like, whatever, shoes are shoes. But my grandpa's like, no. So that was funny. And then I also was able to dance on Polka Family's parade, which is really fun. I got to ride on it a little bit, and then Dwayne Wilkes we would dance along the road. And then when the festival was all over, my grandma and grandpa would go and cook a whole bunch of food in their motorhome, and everybody would just come together. My grandma would like cook a whole bunch of stuff, and everybody would bring everything, and it kind of just seemed like I wasn't really sure of the previous years, but it kind of just seemed like that was like the yearly thing, that at the end of it, all the bands, all the people would just come. And it was actually really funny because during the festival I would go and drink a whole bunch of slushies, and at the end one of the workers actually just came out and just gave us all of them, which is kind of funny. So yeah, I think that was the most memorable part, just watching everybody come together, just seeing like what they would do for the entirety of Polka fans.
Yep. And I have a good story. We used to go every year to Seven Springs. So those of anybody who used to go to Seven Springs would, on top of the mountain, right near the dance hall, there were like 10 or 12 motorhomes lined up every single year. So my mother worked for a caterer and had brought roast beef and mashed potatoes and sauerkraut to up to Seven Springs with us. And there was a bunch of their friends and everybody, Ginny and Charlie from Florida and a bunch of people from Louisiana. And so the people from Louisiana said, well, we're going down the mountain going shopping. And they came back, and while they were gone, my mother had roast beef and all this stuff out for everybody. Well, they were drinking, and everybody had shots and whatever they were drinking, and they get back down. They come later on, and they're like, oh, Dave and Kathy are back from Louisiana. Let's get them food. Well, they couldn't find the sauerkraut. Literally couldn't find the sauerkraut. Someone put it away, and they had no clue where it was. They found it. It was mixed with the roast beef. They were calling it Polish jambalaya. So yeah, they found it. It was mixed. But there was a lot of pranks that were done up there during that time. Dave from Louisiana went and bought a pie, but chocolate cream or banana cream pie without any cream on it, because that's the way he specified it, and then went to put a can of shaving cream on it and tried to get my mother to eat it. So that was pretty funny. Yeah. So.
And how long has it been now since Dad Gus has been gone?
Since November of 2012.
Okay. And then how about Mom? She just passed recently.
Yeah, June of 2020.
Yeah. Well, we miss everybody dearly, and that's the reason why Jerry and I decided to have a little bit of a walk through Polka Heaven, and we thank the two of you for spending some time with us. God bless you. We love you. You know that?
Yes.
And thank you so very, very much for being part of Polkas After Dark.
And
thank you. Thank you for letting us talk about my grandma and grandpa, because I miss them deeply.
Yeah, and I just want to say thank you again, because I miss my mom and dad every single day.
God bless you guys. Well, Gus and Julie, let's see, Millie and Willie, they love this guy too. Here's Eddie Blazonczyk and the Versatones, a little bit of Polka Celebration.
When you're feeling down and out and need some cheering up, I'm gonna tell you what you need to do. Get on out and listen to your favorite polka band. It's guaranteed to help you chase away the blues. We're gonna have a polka celebration. You bring your friends out and I'll bring mine. We're gonna have a polka celebration. We're gonna party and have a good time. part of the world. Its happy rhythm makes you feel so fine. It's got that touch of happiness. You smile, it cheers you up. There's nothing like the polka, any place or any time. We're gonna have a polka celebration. You bring your friends out, and I'll bring mine. We're gonna have a polka celebration. We're gonna party and have everybody now. We're gonna have a polka celebration. You bring your friends out, and I'll bring mine. We're gonna have a polka celebration. We're gonna party and have a good time. We're gonna have a polka celebration. You bring your friends out, and I'll bring mine. We're gonna have a polka celebration. We're gonna party and have a good time.
Hey, how about a little bit of Stash Belanda and the gang? Here's one called Let's Have a Party for Millie and Willie.
Clean out the basement, invite the crowd, make sure the music is nice and loud. We'll do some dancing and play some games. Let's ask the neighbors not to complain. Let's have a party with all our friends. Let's have a good time, don't let it end. We got the people and lots of beer. Tonight at 7, they'll all be here. Here's my friend Waju, and there goes Rose. And here's some wino that no one knows. We're gonna party all through the night. Let's have a party, let's do it right. Let's have a party with all our friends. Let's have a good time, don't let it end. We got the people and lots of beer. Tonight at 7, they'll all be here. Let's have a party with all our friends. Let's have a good time, don't let it end. We got the people and lots of beer. Tonight at 7, they'll all be here. I had this dream that I died and went to heaven, and when St. Peter opened up the pearly gates, as I looked around heaven, the sights were so amazing, but what I heard up there was something truly, truly great. 'Cause the heavens, they were filled with polka music by the greatest polka band I've ever heard. 'Cause the great ones playing polkas up in heaven were the great ones who played polkas here on earth. Yeah, the heavens, they were filled with polka music by the greatest polka band I've ever heard. 'Cause the great ones playing polkas up in heaven were the same ones who play polkas here on earth. So I asked St. Peter, I said, St. Peter, can I stand and play a few tunes with these guys? And he just shook his head and said, no, it's still not time for you to join the rat. He said my work with polkas back on Earth's not finished, but when it is, then he'd invite me back. Then someone said, hey, Stash, before you leave us, tell our friends back home that we are doing fine. And tell them every time that they hear polka music, they should think about the band up in the sky. Then the heavens fill with sounds of polka music by the greatest polka band you've ever heard. 'Cause the stars that shine so brightly up in heaven were the stars that shine so brightly here on earth. Yeah, the heavens, they were filled with polka music by the greatest polka band I've ever heard. 'Cause the great ones playing polkas up in heaven were the same ones who play polkas here on earth.
Here's another band that everybody loved, aka Gus and Julie, Willie and Millie, and probably you guys too. Here's the Buffalo Touch, a little bit of My Pigeons Polka.
Sine całe gołąbie i usiadły na dębie i tak się spoglądają. Szeptać kogo tutaj znają i tak się spoglądają. Szeptać kogo tutaj znają i tak się przybliżają, ruchają i na mnie spoglądają. A ja im rzucam z latka. Zapraszam do ogródka, a ja im rzucam z latka. Zapraszam do ogródka.
Hey, good evening to Mary Lou Czerniak out there in Minnesota. Also, Anya Pivovarchek up in Canada. Maria Blasting is here. We're going to also say hello to musical Mark Swoger out in the city of North Tonawanda.
Gdy się do mnie zbliżyły i wolę się napiłem, karteczkę nie podały. Za gościnnie dziękowały, karteczkę nie podały. Za gościnnie dziękowały. Ja karteczkę przeczytał i bardzo się rozpłakał. A miła napisała, bo innemu różkę dała. Ma miła napisała, bo innemu różkę dała.
Sound of the Buffalo Touch, entertaining you right here on A Walk Through Polka Heaven. Hey folks, just a reminder, we have one more week, and that is next week Saturday for the final edition of A Walk Through Polka Heaven. Hey, we'd like to know some of your comments. You can send us some emails over there at polkasafterdark@gmail.com. You can also leave some comments right here on Facebook as well as YouTube. We've got a nice crowd on both this evening, so you can leave some comments there. They will be there forever and a day. And just let us know how you've liked the Walk Through Polka Heaven these past four episodes. That's right, we've got episode number 5, which is the finale, as Jerry says, and that is going to be coming up next week, Saturday. Hey, Jerry, why don't you go ahead and say hello to some people in our chat room over there at Facebook.
Oh, my sound is terrible. What do you got me turned down all the way so nobody can hear me? What?
Bring your mic up
right
there. There you go. Well, that's too far. No, that's too far.
We have Chris Tansky, Jerry Romanowski, Ivan Mayers, Polka K's with us. We have Donna Skitchilis with us, Roger Kane, Greg Polka, Don Stressing Wisniewski. I'm bad at names.
Don Vishnesky.
Yeah, okay, yes. Good. That's it. Yes. Ray Bajuik Jr.'s with us. We have Lisa Pardo, Vince Sosnowski, Jill saying hi to Mom. Hi, Mom. Hi, Jill.
Hey, we got Paul Trubish here, Kyle Kohan. Let's see. Go ahead. Who else do you have there?
I have Val Dingestage just joined us a few minutes ago.
Hey.
Anya Piavarchuk is with us.
Yeah.
Andrew Ratajczak joined us just a few minutes ago. Jenny Smith is with us. Linda P. We got a bunch. Dave Janko, of course, has been hanging out with us all the time.
Mr. Joe Michelik is here. We want to say hello to him. Also, Craig Ebel out there in Minnesota, or depending on where he's at tonight, where he's hanging his hat and putting his shoes. Hey, let's see here. We're going to also say hello to Kim and Ralph Sabatini. They're joining us. Mr. Frank Huber, a long time and no see. We want to say hello to you also, to Wayne Hanslick. He's here. Mr. Steve Brown is enjoying a cocktail by the pool down in Florida. I don't know if he's by the pool. Maybe he'll make a pool by the time he's done drinking tonight. Hey, also Blender Bob, president of the USPA. He is with us this evening. Mr. Greg Russo, and of course the lovely Sue Howard. Let's see, Sue Darlak Howard. Let's see, Kazuda Myers Gonzalez Rodriguez.
That name sounds really familiar.
Yeah. Which one?
Yes.
All of them.
Actually, she's coming up very shortly to tell us some wonderful stories.
Yes, she is. As a matter of fact, about her very, very good friend, Mr. Jan Simon from the musical Heirs. And let's see here. Who else do we want to say hello to? Veronica Costa. Mr. Greg Russo is in the house. Marcia Kittrus in Michigan. We're going to say hello to you, Marcia. Kim Rozak. Let's see. Ariana Alexis is here. Hello to you. Jason Anschultz. Gosh, we've got a lot of people here this evening. Judy Andreas. Thank you so much. Arendis. Why do I keep saying Andrea? Because we know Judy Andreas that lives here in Buffalo, that used to work for the big place down in Erie County. So we want to say hello to all the folks there as well. Janice Gans. She is here. Gans. Michelle Vojtovich is here. Helena Garbach, good evening to you. Kathy Koblish is here. Again, we've got some great folks. Hey, right now, here's another great gal. Her name is Sue Darlak Howard, and she's here to talk a little bit about Mr. Jan Simon.
Hello, all. My name is Sue Darlak Howard. I have the pleasure of talking about my old friend, Jan Simon. I knew of Jan when he played with the New Brass, and then when he started his own band called Jan Simon and the Musical Heirs back in the 70s. In the early 80s, Jan and his family decided to move back to Buffalo. He then decided to reestablish the Musical Heirs and started looking for local musicians. I was ecstatic when Jan asked me to play accordion for him. Besides Jan being our leader, he played trumpet and sang all the vocals. The rest of the band consisted of Dennis Panner on trumpet, Eddie Chadwick on drums, Larry Chadwick on bass and vocals, and Casey Kleizak, whom everybody knows, on concertina. We had rehearsals at Jan's house a few days a week. His wife, Judy, always met us at the door with a smile on her face. Two things Jan wanted from the band was to sound good as well as being professional. Also, to socialize with our audience. Jan had that distinct, vibrant voice and had a personality like no other. Everyone loved Jan wherever we played. During the summer months, we traveled all over. We played Binghamton, Cleveland, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, Massachusetts, and a few more. Two of Jan's favorite places were Idora Park in Youngstown, Ohio, and Yankee Lake in Trumbull, Ohio. Funny story about Erie. The band was playing, and I was wearing this tube top type dress. There were all these musicians coming up to the band side on my side, and I couldn't figure out why. Anyways, Jan turned to me and he said, "Oh, look at that." And he says, "Your top is down to your waist." Talk about embarrassed. Oh, well, it must have been all that bellow shaking I was doing. Oh, well. We also backed up Marion Lush quite a bit. We all loved playing Marion Lush tunes. Jan and Marion sang so beautiful together. The best place we played with Marion was in Seven Springs. During all the other months, we played locally here in Buffalo. Chopin's, Polish Villa 2, St. Michael's in Lackawanna, Mishnak's, and many more. There was also Gino's place in North Tonawanda, Sacred Heart Long Fate in Niagara Falls, and the Matthew Glad Post in Lackawanna. Everyone remembers the Town Edge bowling alleys. We played there a lot. That was the place for musicians to hang out after their gigs. It was a great place to go to. All I can say is that Jan was an awesome musician. His vocals were lively and dynamic, and it was an honor to play in a band with Jan and the rest of the musical heirs and the band. I was happy to call Jan my fellow musician as well as my good friend. Rest in peace, Jan. Here's to you. Na zdrowia. Oop. Hey, by the way, if I'm slurring my words, it's because this is my 10th take.
Hey, here's a tune featuring Susie on accordion with Jan Simon and the Musical Heirs, a tune that was never released. Here's one called What the Heck, Oh Bedek. Keeping it with Jan Simon and the Musical Heirs. Here's another tune that was never released. Here's one called the Kiss Me Polka. Pocałujmie.
Hej, zakręcie mi Kasiu na swej koncertinie, a ja ludziom zaśpiewał o jednej dziewczynie. Była pana młodziutka, skromne nóżki miała, ksiądz po ballach chodziła, nosy podarowała.
Była pani całowała, jak chłopiec ją tańcował, tego całowała.
Koncertinie, a ja ludziom zaśpiewał o jedynej dziewczynie. Była pana młodziutka, skromnie już miała, co z powala chodziła, na spekadrowała.
That's one that was never released as well. And again, that is the sound of the musical airs. Hey, we've got one more song that we want to play by Jan a little bit early on. Another one that he made real famous. Here's one called the Oh Yeah Polka, especially for Bobby Szymanski. Also for Val Bukowski. Val Dingestay is here with us tonight.
Na zielone łące dziewczyna cała, a ja jej się pytam, ty buzi dała. Ona mówi nie, moje kochanie, obie mama biła, zacałowała mnie. Ona mówi nie, moje kochanie, obie mama biła, zacałowała mnie. Biłany szli, spała tam dziewczyna, płacze i myśli. Nie płacz dziewczynie, nie będzie tak źle. Ty powróciem spojnie, obiem ziemi się. Nie płacz dziewczynie, nie będzie tak źle. Ty powróciem spojnie, obiem ziemi się. Nie płacz dziewczynie, nie będzie tak źle. Ty powróciem spojnie, obiem ziemi się. Nie płacz dziewczynie, nie będzie tak źle. Ty powróciem spojnie, obiem ziemi się.
A little bit of oh yeah, there's Jan Simon and the musical airs. Hey, once again, folks, we do want to thank you so much for joining us here on a walk through Polka Heaven. It was this gal's idea right here next to me, so it wasn't mine. I can't take the credit for it.
It has
that is
just
for sure.
been an incredible experience.
Yeah, and we've got some great videos coming up next week, too. Well, right now, in a couple of minutes, we're going to bring up Mr. Ken Michalski from the Buffalo Touch, and he's going to be reminiscing about a whole bunch of Buffalo musicians that have left us, including Mike Nowakowski, Jerry Darlak, Tommy Miniszewski, and some family members as well. He's going to be enlightening us with some of those. Hey guys, gals, we sure hope that you've enjoyed this. We have one more week. Next week we're going to be featuring a lot of Chicago folks. That's right, we've got Mikey Stupinski that's going to be joining us, talking a little bit about Marion Lush and his days with Lush. Also, let's see here, Richie Coyce talking about Eddie Boisonchek Sr. and the days traveling with the Versatile Versatones. Let's see, we also have who
Paul
else do we have?
Romanowski.
Paul Romanowski is going to be talking about Mr. Paul Fidella, and oddly enough, today marks the 17th year anniversary of Paul Fidella's passing. So, Paul, we still miss you. We still think about you a lot. We still watch your YouTube videos all over the place with all the different bands that you played with, the Dynastics, as well as PCM Polka country musicians. Who else do we have, Jerry, that's coming up next week?
We have Diane Belunda.
Okay.
Christy Kravich.
Oh, yeah.
Karen Hootie.
Oh, yeah, okay.
You said Richie Coyce already?
Yep.
We have Lori March.
You know who I forgot to mention that was very, very gracious to send something in is Mr. Dave Rackus from New Jersey, and he is going to be talking about his good friend, Richie Tokarz, which is not only his good friend, but everybody's good friend. So, folks, we have some more videos coming up for you next week, and right now we are going to prepare for Mr. Kenny Michalski, but before we do that, here's a tune called Alice. Here's one for all of the Buffalo Touch fans.
Sally called when she got the word. She said, I suppose you heard about Alice. So I jumped to the window and looked outside, but I could hardly believe my eyes as that big limousine pulled out of Alice's drive. Oh, I don't know why she's leaving or where she's gonna go. I guess she's got a reason, but I just don't wanna know. But for 24 years I've been living next door to Alice. Alice? Who the hell was Alice? 24 years waiting for a chance to tell her how I feel and get a second glance. Now I've gotta get used to that living next door to Alice. Alice? Who the hell is Alice? Grew up together, two kids in the park. I carved her initials deep in the bark, me and Alice. Now she walks to the door with her head up high, and just for a moment I caught her eye as a big limousine pulled out of Alice's drive. Oh, I don't know why she's leaving or where she's gonna go. I guess she's got a reason, but I just don't wanna know. But for 24 years I've been living next door to Alice. Alice? Who the hell is Alice? 24 years waiting for a chance to tell her how I feel and get a second glance. Now I've gotta get used to not living next door to Alice. Alice? Who the hell is Alice? disappeared. Oh, I don't know why she's leaving, or where she's gonna go. I guess she's got a reason, but I just don't wanna know. But for 24 years I've been living next door to Alice. Alice, who the hell is Alice? 24 years waiting for a chance to tell her how I feel and get a second glance. Now I've gotta get used to not living next door to Alice. Alice, who the hell is Alice?
Hey, that's the sound of the Buffalo Touch right here on Polkas After Dark, aka this version, which is called A Walk Through Polka Heaven. And Jerry, I want to definitely make mention once again that this was your idea. You did a great job with it. And we can't wait until maybe we do this again next year. Because
next
a lot of folks have sent stuff. But right now, here's Mr. Ken Michalski.
Hello, everybody. This is Ken Michalski of the Buffalo Touch in Buffalo, New York. And we'd like to thank Robin and Jerry for all their efforts they do in producing these shows every week. And for this special they have right now on the Walk Through Heaven's Gates. I have personally lost several musicians throughout my lifetime. And it was very hard, of course, losing musicians that you play with over the years. And back in, let's see, it was about 2010 is when we lost Jerry Darlak. He was the leader of our band, Jerry Darlak and the Touch. It was very difficult for me to comprehend because he was with us 15 years. And man, what great times we had. But after we lost Jerry, I couldn't sleep, and I just, a flush of memories of all these people who we lost over the years came down. I started writing down names, and I started that Facebook page, RIP Brothers of the Note, keeping you in our thoughts and many memories. Since we have about over 400 names on that list of musicians, promoters, and people who we lost over the years. So this is difficult, but it's a celebration. It's a celebration of their lives. You know, they put many smiles of thousands and thousands of people throughout the country and the world, you know, with technology the way it is. I got to start by thinking of my dad, my father, Joe Michalski. He was a sax player and a great musician. Great musician. He just played sax well. He had a good ear and he could read music. And as it turns out, as a young kid, I used to watch them rehearse at the house, you know, clean out the living room, and they'd come in there. Ray Skochilas was a bass player at the time and violinist. One of my dad's best friends in work and play. And then Al Tucker Tucholsky, played concertina, and he would come over, and that's where I got my first introduction to concertina. And I'd as these guys would rehearse, and then they'd go to the kitchen and have a few schnippers, you know, I would mess around with his concertina, and it gave me an introduction to concertina, and I became in love with it and began playing it eventually. But my dad played the Army band, and he in the Army band he told me they recorded clarinet polka in 5-part harmony. And I'll be damned if I can find that recording, but I'm still continuing to try. 5-part harmony. There were sax players there from the Glenn Miller band that he played with, and sax players from the Frank Wojnarowski band out in Connecticut that were in the Army band with him. My brother is my older brother, who we lost about 7-8 years ago. He was chip off the old block for my dad, because he played sax as well. I played sax and clarinet, and he played in the band with them. And again, I would be there, and I'd be playing on the pots and pans and drums, boxes, you know, keeping the rhythm. and singing along. That was my youth. I was growing up a house full of musicians. My uncle Leo played accordion. Joe Sujik and the entire Sujik family, they played. There was accordion player, bass player, trombone player, Norby, and sax player. So that was a great family that I became indoctrinated with as growing up. And of course, my brother's wife's brother, Carol's brother, he was an accordion player, Norm Jingalewski, and he played excellent accordion, and he was really a virtuoso. Became a priest and then later became a doctor. So anyway, there's just a family of musicians, and my brother's gone, my dad's gone. I certainly miss them. I miss them dearly. They made my roots, and they helped me along to get started playing, and it was just a tremendous, what can I say, upbringing in the musical family. Then, of course, as time goes on, played in many bands. I've been fortunate enough to play Rich Gurgel and the High Notes Band. That was a popular band that traveled the entire country. And I was like 15, 16 years old, played drums with the band. And man, that was just a blast. And then moving on to Good Boys, we formed that band. We lost Harry Burdick, our violin player. He was the oldest guy in the band by 25, 30 years. But he was a great guy and gave us a real taste for Postara Kreisku music, you might say, on the violin. And then New York Transfer was a band that I was with for almost 25 years. And then right near the end of New York Transfer, as Jerry Darlack called, and there you go, we had the Buffalo Touch. And Jerry was with us for 15 years, and then we lost Jerry. But there's 15 years of Jerry Darlack where the stories are amazing. We made our own stories as well, traveling and playing and seeing all Jerry's friends, and all then Jerry's friends would tell him the stories of when he was started. So we got to share all that stuff with Jerry, and we got to share Jerry's excellent concertina playing. I mean, he's one of the finest, or in the top echelon of concertina players throughout the music industry. He innovated numerous techniques and styles that are still being copied today and built upon at Jerry Darlack. He was a special guy. He's one of a kind. Everybody loved Jerry. He was he was a card, putting it mildly. And the jokes and the stories between Mary and Lush. He started out in playing drums as well, and playing drums, and then to concertina with Lush, and then moving over to Eddie Blazonczyk and his band. Oh my God, there's so many fun and laughable stuffs. A lot of the stuff I can't share on the air, but sometime we'll have to do a Blue Room conversation. But it's Jerry again. We miss him dearly. Jerry put this band together, 8 guys, and of course Tommy Miniszewski was an integral part of it as we started off. And Tom Miniszewski, who we lost in 2007, I grew up with Tommy playing, Johnny Banashek and Johnson Music School and Edwin's Music Store. All the guys on the east side, we all matriculated through Kubera's, Edwin's, Henry Chimes, those music stores. They put out a ton of musicians. And boy, did we have fun as kids, playing with each other and, learning and getting tested, as you might say. Matter of fact, Tommy, we lost him in 2007 to cancer, but he was a unique individual as well, and he gave us the ability to to switch the band around, the touch band. We could play ample airs, we could play naturals, with the two saxes. Then Ray would, of course, go to trumpet, and then we could do the two-horn trumpet stuff with Tommy. Just a great guy. Good singer. Man, he could sing great harmonies and just had a great dry sense of humor. And his snoring was the topic of all the road trips. He'd keep us alive and happy by his snore. But just, again, thinking of Tommy Maniszewski, even when we were kids again playing, he played sax, I played accordion, and I forget, we had Tommy Babelzowski, I think, on drums back in the day. But Tommy's a guy we miss very much, and he's missed by a lot of people. He played with Happy Ritchie, and he's recorded numerous CDs, and God bless you, Tommy. We miss you too. And then, of course, our latest loss was 2019, which is one that just keeps a big hole in our hearts. Mike Nowakowski. Yeah, Mike was also like Jerry Darlick. He was in the IPA, inducted into the IPA Hall of Fame, and Mike was also inducted into the Buffalo Musicians Hall of Fame years back. His efforts as president of Sunshine Records, which Mike was in. He recorded so many bands and put so many bands in the opportunity to travel the country and have a recording with them. And he was just great promoter of polka music. And Mike, he was, again, a unique individual. He's the guy that embellished the triple shake on accordion. Of course, they came from Tommy Kadash. Tommy Kadash was the innovator, I believe, or one of the innovators, you might say, of the triple shake. But Mike mastered it, and he used it well. Also, Mike could sing. He could tell stories. He'd laugh. I guess everybody knew Mike Nowakowski, again, through his recordings and record company. And just his playing. He played with, of course, the Dynatones and the Sunshine Band, and played with Little Wally, played with Marion Lush. Mike was a well-traveled and well-schooled and just terrific accordion player. Man, just a friend, a great friend. All these guys that we've lost were dear friends that you loved. You loved them for their being, their what they contributed, and their laugh, and it was all family. These guys are all part of a big polka family now in heaven. And I'm sure they're having many drinky winkies up there, and then a couple of Nozdrovias thrown in. But just thinking about them again, and then I visit the site of Brothers of the Note, and there's just to see how many we've lost is breathtaking. And someday I guess we'll all be on that list. But for today, we celebrate all of them, all the musicians that we've lost, and we celebrate their music that's available on records and CDs and tapes and YouTubes. We celebrate, we look at them, and we laugh, and we cry. And that's what we love about our musical brotherhood, that we can do all this. I'm still looking forward to having the Buffalo musicians, all the guys we still have left here playing, which are quite a number of them, and some really great musicians still here, and some retired, some still playing. But I'd like to do what the Chicago guys do. I envy you guys in Chicago for having your monthly breakfast session. I think that's a slice, as Jerry would say. That's one of the best things going, because you're out there meeting once a month. They establish a place. And all these guys, they meet there from like 9 till 10 o'clock in the morning, whatever. Have a coffee, have breakfast, whatever. Everybody's pay on your own. But it's just to get together and say hello and see how everybody's still doing, share a few stories, have a few laughs. And maybe once in a year, I think they have a jam session where everybody brings an instrument and plays a couple of songs and just to enliven themselves. And I just think that's the wonderful thing. And I hope to get that started here in Buffalo sometime real soon, so we can enjoy the same kind of camaraderie. So thank you guys in Chicago for your great brotherhood that you have out there. And we're, like I say, we're all brothers of the note. And thank you for this opportunity to speak to that. And Robin and Jerry, God bless you, and say a prayer for all our brothers. And we'll see you soon. Thank you.
So if you're out there listening, come on back. Please come on back. Okay, here we go. Ricky told me to say this is one of the most requested songs in the universe. Here we go. Del Rio Drive.
Hey, that's a little bit of Jerry Darlak and the Touch, one called Del Rio Drive, one of the tunes that they loved playing out, and everybody loved when they did. Hey, folks, once again, Jerry and I, we're looking here at about 3 minutes to go before 9 o'clock. We do thank you guys so much once again. No broadcast tomorrow, no interview, but boy, are we going to do something special tomorrow, Jerry. And that's going to be a lot of fun because we're going to be talking with somebody that you guys are going to love hearing in the upcoming weeks.
I thought we were going to clean out the closets tomorrow.
Maybe, yeah, well, good
that
luck.
Too.
Good luck with that. Good luck with that. Hey, again, folks, thanks so much for putting us on. We always say if you've been listening in your car.
Thanks for the ride.
Thanks for the ride.
Well, I was thinking, because we have one important thing to do yet.
Yes, we have to play a very special birthday for somebody, right?
Yes.
And how old is this guy going to be?
8, right?
8 years old. Oh, that's old.
I know. That's really old.
But I hear he's a baseball star, and he's going to be doing a lot of cool stuff.
I can't believe he's that old already.
Yeah.
We need to make it down to visit.
Yeah, we definitely
absolutely do. We are talking about... That's my drum roll.
Drum roll, please.
That's as good as I get. You have to announce.
Mason Romanowski.
Yay,
that's right.
Mason
Romanowski. He turns 8 on Wednesday. So happy birthday to you, Mason. Hey, we're going to play a song right now to end things out. We thank you guys so very, very much. Please stick around until the very end because we are going to pay tribute once again to 3 wonderful people that we lost this week. Unbelievable. And here is one that everybody loves, featuring Scrubby and Larry on the vocal with the Dynatones. Here's one called Don't Fight Girls. And don't forget to join us next week, Saturday at 7 p.m. We're going to be here.
Tam, gdzie jest ta woda, gdzie koniki piją, gdzie jest to ładny kład, maka do dziewki piją. Gdzie jest to ładny kład, maka do dziewki piją. Ej, nie bijcie się dziewki dla Boga Świętego, dla Boga Świętego. Kiedy Panny kłakał do rana samego, kiedy Panny kłakał do rana samego. Nasz moja dana, śpiewam se do rana. Tak mi jest wesoła, tańcuję wokoła. Tak mi jest wesoła, tańcuję wokoła. Ej, nie bijcie się, nie bić na Boga Świętego, na Boga Świętego. Kiedy Panny kłakał do rana samego, kiedy Panny kłakał do rana samego.
Gdzie jest ładny chłopak, to się dziewki piją. Gdzie jest ładny chłopak, to się dziewki piją. Ej, nie bijcie się dziewki dla Boga Świętego, dla Boga Świętego. Będzie Panny kłakał do rana samego. Będzie Panny kłakał do rana samego.
Hey, that is, of course, Scrubby and Larry with the Dynatones. Folks, thanks ever so much for sticking around here this evening. And we are going to close with something that Paul and Lucy used to always request. Here's DBC with a 9-hour drive. God bless you, Paul. God bless you, Jeannie. And God bless you, Patricia. Until we meet again.